we always do together. To walk around the circle like,
I hate standing in the circle. Women right there. Solid. Where you going from? Over with what's happening.
I don't want to stand where you tell me to.
Come on, lay up.
We're going to be silent for 5 minutes. That's what we agreed on, okay? Thank you all. Come and surround around us. thank you all for coming to honor the life of Breonna Taylor. This was a national call by her family to have a moment of silence that started at 3:13. Breonna Taylor was murdered by the Louisville Metro Police Department just after midnight in her home. She had plans her aunt made plans. Her Aunt Bianca, she wanted her Aunt Bianca to go out with her. Her Aunt Bianca had something else to do, so she decided for a quiet night at home. Like many of us, 5 years ago on this day, we were still grappling with what to do about COVID-19. I was trying to figure out how to keep my team working as we were still working to bail people out in our bail project work. I was on my way to Los Angeles to figure out what is our new plan, because COVID-19 was our biggest culprit at that time. Breonna didn't expect to die on March 13th. She expected a quiet night at home. As a result of a bogus warrant and a raid, she lost her life. I remember talking to Tamika Palmer, and she told me when she got to the scene, she kept asking about her daughter. She was met with more questions, but her daughter was laying there dead, and nobody told her. From the beginning of this, there has been lies and corruption in every angle. We came together as a community months later, right after George Floyd, right after Ahmaud Arbery, right after the scathing letter from the Fraternal Order of Police that were upset at the release of Kenneth Walker from custody on home incarceration. But we heard his 911 call, and that put us in the streets. That 911 call took away the benefit of the doubt that we had been given LMPD since March 13th. That 911 call proved that Kenneth Walker did not know who had broken into their home. That 911 call was a telltale story that too many other people have suffered, and we will never know their names. So when we say justice for Breonna Taylor and many more, that is for the many names and the many stories we will never know. When we say justice for Breonna Taylor, it is because we don't want that to happen to anyone else in Louisville, in Kentucky, in our nation. Our country, many can argue, was born out of protests. People leaving bad situations that they didn't like, coming here. But what we have done is more than duplicated. We made the problem worse in this country. We set up policing as a method to protect property and to catch slaves. That same policing of which Breonna Taylor was a part of is what has been causing so many problems. The enforcement arm has now been managing our city, and we as a people must take our city back. Our protests, our standing up, our taking our protest to policy change is our duty, it's our rent, and it's our way to make sure what happened to Breonna Taylor and too many more doesn't happen again. 5 years ago, I never saw myself across the street in that office that I now sit in for the people. 5 years ago, I was out here because I knew my daughters would be out here. My daughters who not only went to school with Breonna and Kenneth Walker, but also Janiyah, her little sister. I knew that this was the young people's movement, and it was my job to be a resource. And Lord knows I've paid for my role over and over again. But I would do it over and over again because I believe in people power, and I believe that we must rise up against all injustices, all forms of violence, not just from our police. And I want history to reflect that when it was my turn, I did the right things. I did what I should do. And I hope that that's what you see when you see us. Many of the people standing here was out here for more more than a few hundred days, every day, tirelessly, risking our jobs, risking our lives, losing contact with family. I wasn't allowed to see my mother. Many of them couldn't go home because they were on the news. We stood out here against injustice over and over again together. Even if we had different pathways to get it, we stood in solidarity for justice for Breonna Taylor and too many more. We asked for those officers to be charged, arrested, and fired. We asked for the warrant process to be changed so they couldn't choose a judge to sign those death warrants in a matter of 12 minutes. We asked our legal community to step in and help us because we were being criminalized, we were being taken to jail. Many of the people arrested, over 1,000 arrests, most of those people had never been arrested before. We asked our faith community to lock hands, to stand with us in solidarity. We asked our business community to be with us and help support us so we can feed people. We can help people have the energy it took for march after march, night after night, day after day. We as a community came together and we were met with nothing but weaponization of our fighting against injustice. We were met with new signage and more surveillance than we've ever seen before. We were met with fences and businesses shut down and us being blamed for it when we all know that this downtown has lost business, not just from COVID-19, but because what we took to build this is not what it's going to take to move forward. We cannot continue to operate in the same ways. And they cannot continue to run these buildings and businesses in the same way. But we were blamed as protesters for everything that went wrong. And all we've been asking for is accountability from Louisville Metro Police Department. And all we've been met with is violence and trauma and ongoing issues. So we are gathered here today, and they will stay gathered here while I have to go back in and do my council duties, because we want to represent. We stood on business. We said that we can never go back to business as usual. We've joined boards, we've joined commissions, we've started organizations, we've raised awareness around this world. I sat here and talked to people in Italy and Africa, people in Colorado. We traveled. People see the way we've come together as a Louisville, as a city, black, brown, white, other. We came together, and we will do it again if we have to. That's not a threat of violence. That means that people have always shown up to do what's needed when our government fails us and don't know what to do. Our government didn't know what to do with COVID-19. We were providing PPE. We were providing testing. We were providing all kinds of things right here in this park. We were a microcosm of what our city needed to be. It was not perfect. It was loud. It was ugly. And it was beautiful. And 5 years later, while some say we should move on, we haven't completed the project. We haven't seen the police reforms we deserve. We've seen attempts to take credit for what the Breonna Taylor family and the many protesters and legal folks have been asking for many years. But we're not done, you all. We have a consent decree that's been signed by the judge and by our mayor that is still sitting on a federal judge's desk waiting to be formally acknowledged. We still have work to do. We still have to show up. We still have to take action. Real change comes with people showing up and taking action. A real apology is change behavior, not just a press conference. What we need in our books and what we need by action from our mayor and police chief, that there is an attempt to right the many wrongs Louisvillians have suffered. With that said, I want to give an opportunity for the people who have been coming here, who are still connected to this movement, to share. I'm here to be here for you because I work for the people. And I will continue to be a voice in every way I can. And I used to tell you all, even when some things I didn't agree with, I'm with the shit, but I can't do all the shit. I can't do it all by myself. I have a role now.
We got your back, we got your back.
Thank you.
That's right.
But I need you to keep showing up, to keep showing out, and to keep letting our elected officials, that's the reason why I chose this as Injustice Square. This was just Hot Dog Park, and you all have changed that. This was just a park you walked through to go to one of the many places where people make decisions that impact your lives. But now, it is the people who own this park. It is the people who will keep showing up. They hated that historical marker was put right there. But we changed history with her story, and it's our story now. It is bigger than Breonna, and now you have all helped seal that in. We need you all to keep going. And can I get you all to say, keep going? Keep going! Keep going! Keep going! Keep going! Keep going! Thank you. And
Say her name!
Breonna Taylor!
Say her name!
Breonna Taylor!
Say her name!
Breonna Taylor!
One of the things that we were asked during when Bianca gave us the moment of silence, when she told us about the task, was to think about what we will do to keep going. We need to think about what we can do together as a community to hold elected officials accountable. One of the things is I advise everybody to look into the People's Consent Decree. When Bianca gave that task, that's where my mind went. What can I do? What still needs to be done as it relates to the People's Consent Decree, and what part do I fit in? I don't have a lot to say because Ms. Shamika has already said it all. Anything else that I would say will echo that. So I'm going to pass my voice over to Ms. Rhonda, and you can come on and share with the people anything that you have.
We were arrested. We were arrested, but I would say it seems as if that the will of justice is moving backwards. We have people that who are privileged, sits in the seat of power that can make a difference. David James always liked to say how he stood on the shoulders of Shelby Lanier. Well, if Shelby Lanier was here, he would be standing with the people. He knew what corruption was going on with LMPD. He called it out. He sued. So why isn't David James standing with the ancestor? Our mayor would like to take credit for something that even with the past mayor has done. We talk about Breonna, and they gave us platitudes with their historical marker, but as you can see, other essential workers got big statues. Why did she get statues? They got a flame that would never go out. Well, her life was taken and burnt out. She would never have the opportunity to be a mother, to be a wife, and her mother will always have that in her heart, the loss of her daughter. We, the people, would never get up. We fight for freedom. We will stand together in solidarity. This is Women's Month. So women across the state, nation, international, and right here in Louisville, you should be saying her name and stand up for Breonna Taylor, because it could happen to you or your daughter. We have to build solidarity. We live off of hope and faith. They operate out of fear.
That's right.
We want to work and have a safe community, but we want to be at the table as far as with the monitor. Why aren't the people at the table? Why do you keep ignoring the will of the people? Well, I'm here to tell you, the will of the people, we as the people, would never give up. We're going to fight this to the end. We are sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I ask those who are listening to join us in this fight, because we get more together. Divided we fall, united we stand, and we will stand united.
Thank you, Ms. Rhonda.
After 5 years, I just want to say the DOJ to be here. You know what I'm saying? Like, do what needs to be done.
Right.
Quit playing in the face. Yeah, see how quick we get together for something celebratory.
Yeah.
But this is not a celebration.
That's right.
We out here because we pissed the fuck off, because it's been 5 years and we still. What's next? It's all. The consent decree. Find your hub. Find where you need to get in so that you can work and work your lane. It's too much work that needs to be done out here, y'all. Way too much. And you're going to need your community more than ever moving forward these days. More than ever. Aside from Breonna still waiting on justice, there's little fires going on around the whole entire country.
That's right.
Find a lane and work. That's all I have to say.
Last thing I got to say, if you stand with the family of Breonna Taylor, on April the 8th, Brett Hankerson is going to jail. Come to the courthouse in solidarity. Stand in solidarity with the family and let the family know that you believe that she deserves justice.
Can we hear from some of the men?
Let us go speak. Right.
So, come on up. So I guess I'll start off by saying, as we coming on the footsteps of the reunion of when we came outside, because we didn't come outside today.
That's right.
Right? And the environment, how it was in 2020, seemed like it's coming right back around, right? Because the fight now, as we can see, is still a fight. Because we're looking at how much time Brett Hankerson's coming up on, right? But on top of that, we worrying about how our government is going right now, right? Because the fight now, we see that they attacking everybody, literally everybody. The poor, the immigrants. We got a brother right now going to trial right now, right? Who was sent, who has a green card, but his green card was taken away, which is impossible, right? For fighting for what's going on in Gaza right now, because we're looking at a genocide, right? We're going against people that's being genocide right now.
Yeah.
Then amongst that, we got an 11-year-old girl in Texas that committed suicide because her family, she was being picked on because her family was immigrants and they were saying they was gonna call ICE. So as my sister Di was saying, find your lane, because the fight is not over. The fight is still fighting. Evil has came back in office for 4 more years, calling himself a king. So what are we gonna do? Louisville, as we can see, we still fighting. We're looking at the consent decrees, right? And this is a demand. We're not asking for anything, right? We're gonna hold people accountable who needs to be held accountable, period. But together we stand, divided we fall, right? So we see that the Trumpers are backpedaling now because they understand that we got Musk, right, coming in office. We don't know what Doge is. Is it a government entity? Is it a government office? Is it not? Because if it's a government entity, we need to know what you're doing. So that's supposed to be open to the public, which is not. So since it's not open to the public, they supposed to be backpedaling and paying some people some money that you've been embezzling because this is illegal. So as we can see, we fighting against white supremacy, all evil everywhere. So what we gonna do? We outside. We never went in. The faces that you see out here, we never went inside. We still out here. So we calling all hands on deck.
That's right. All hands
It's
on
time
deck.
to come back outside. Because we still waiting for justice. And guess what? We got a new DOJ. So anything is possible. But guess what? People power, it's the power of the people. We got 90% going against 1%. That don't make sense. If the 90% is against what the 1% is trying to do, we got to stand up together and revolt against this unrighteous government, lawlessness government, because that's what it is. Everything they're doing is against the law. They destroying the government. That's already fucked up, excuse my language. I try not to cuss, but it's already screwed up. And they screwing it up worse. Why? Because they don't want the government to pay for your streets. They say, we don't need taxes. That's a lie. They already let go VA nurses. They're already attacking our veterans right now. They already let go of veteran nurses in your VA hospital. So we got to understand, where is this fight? Why ain't the people waking up? Because guess what? You think you got a job now until you realize you are being coached or lead by capitalists who's going to let you go and build machines to take your job. And guess what? They don't care less about your education, so you're not going to be educated enough to even get the jobs. So we're looking at another prison problem, because guess what? It's illegal to be houseless. So I'm gonna tell you like this: together we stand, divided we fall. We gotta show them what democracy look like, because guess what? Our democracy is under war. The little bit of democracy, somewhat of a democracy, because we gotta understand the democracy we living in right now is a white supremacy democracy, because we don't see justice at all. You gotta understand, when we were standing out here, how many times we heard, I love what you're doing, but guess what? You're not gonna get justice. No one's gonna be arrested, right? But faith goes a long way, because we had faith in what we was doing out here. We said, wow, we gonna hold, somebody's gonna get locked up. Guess what? Someone's getting locked up. Someone's getting locked up.
And 4 more are on the shelf. Don't forget about them, because we're still coming for them.
So we gotta understand, if we got faith in what we're doing, if we got faith in what we're doing, can't nothing stop us, because guess what? We are the 90%.
Right.
We are the 90%. And guess what? We already been through the worst of the worst, because we came from nothing. At least I have. So a recession, my whole life was a recession. Because you got to understand, every Republican president we had a recession. So if you 30, if you 40, most of your life you've been in a recession. So guess what? You can make it, but you got to stand up and fight. So you can make a change. We can't keep doing this for our kids. Not for us, but for our kids. Because they the future, and they don't want them to even learn. So stand up and fight and come back outside.
Thank you, AB.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to hear
Local
from
politics
Lyndon.
are everything. Lyndon is going to talk about local things that we could do.
Good afternoon, Lyndon Pryor, President and CEO of the Louisville Urban League, and it's always an honor to stand with the folks who have been fighting for 5 years and quite frankly for decades against the injustice that happens in our city every single day. I woke up this morning and thought about this date, and I wondered, how do we measure justice? Because I think that there will be a lot of folks who look at this particular press conference or the councilwoman's press conference this morning or other things that are being said and who would love to tell us that justice has been served. But what we need to understand is that justice is more than somebody being arrested. It's more than somebody being convicted. We measure it more than settlements or lawsuits. Justice only comes when systems change. Because we could arrest everybody, throw them all in jail, but if the system continues to do that to somebody else, if there's going to be another Breonna Taylor, if there's going to be another David McAtee, if there's going to be another somebody who loses their eye in protest or who's abused by police, then justice hasn't been served. And so we have to do more as a community to ensure that justice happens in real time, that real change takes place, that we are certain that these types of atrocities never happen to anybody else in our city again, or quite frankly in our state or anywhere else in this country. And so we have to think about justice in its full totality. And there is a lot that we can do. We talked a lot about this consent decree, and it's time for us to get moving on that. I've said time and time again, LMPD earned that decree.
That's right.
Nobody made that stuff up. All of the documents, everything that the DOJ compiled came from their own hands. And so that is a consent decree that has been earned. And so that means it is now time for us to act on it and to implement change. Implement change for the better. Implement change that is going to be permanent. And most of all, implement change that allows the people to have a seat at the table.
That's right.
That is the big thing here. Change is not going to come if they are allowed to do it on their own. We've seen that time and time again. We've been told time and time again that they can fix themselves. We know that that is not possible. And so they're going to have to do that with the help of these folks out here and a whole lot of other folks. And so we need for Metro Council to step up. We need for those who have been elected to shepherd and to care for every citizen of this community, to step up and do their job and to make sure that all of the entities of this government are held accountable for what they need to do. We want the best departments, the best services, the best resources that Louisville has to offer. And in order to get there, we can get there together. There's a lot of brilliance out here on these streets. There's a lot of brilliance over there at Metro Hall. If we do this together, we can get there. And so let's talk about how we measure justice and how we actually get somewhere in a positive way. Right now, the Urban League is here to work. I know all these folks are here to work. All we're waiting for is somebody else to reach across and say, let's do this together. Thank you.
All right.
Won't be before you long. My name is Sam Bond. I go by Mr. Ivright. I did receive a proclamation in this city, come from the roughest parts of it, and I received it for grassroots leadership in situations like this prior to this situation. I have something I want to say. Give me 2 minutes, but I'm going to need y'all help.
Okay.
Anytime I do like this, I put my hands up, I just need y'all to say breathe. Can y'all do it?
Breathe.
Hands up, don't shoot.
Breathe.
Wait till the hands up. Stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. Hands up, don't shoot. Let my people hear the truth and choose. I gotta
breathe.
A hoodie, Skittles, and some iced tea. Then get you murdered when you look like me. I can't
breathe.
Hands up, don't shoot. Let my peoples hear the truth and choose. I gotta
breathe.
A hoodie, Skittles, and some iced tea. Can get you murdered when you look like me. I can't
breathe.
This conversation brings confrontation. It's complicated. Too long we waited. I got to
breathe.
3 simple requests: equal rights, respect, and tell your man to get his knee out my neck. I can't
breathe.
The heir to the throne, gasping for air. While you get this air like you could care less that I can't
breathe.
Mr. Officer, protect and serve for all of us. Lock me up, I'd rather face the judge than hypoxia. Truth is you a Nazi, huh? And melanin's my problem. Yeah, y'all wanna admire me while I'm jogging. Mama, I can't
breathe.
Back to the lynchings and cracking the whippings. To facts they won't listen, just want me shackled in prison. I got to
breathe.
The system got their hands around my throat. I'm screaming, let my people go while I choke. Plus I'm broke, I gotta
breathe.
So if it don't be justice, won't be no peace. Till Breonna Taylor family rest, won't be no sleep. I'm still annoyed with the murder of George Floyd. That was personal. I feel him and Chauvin were boys, but
breathe.
Please, somebody tell me between Chauvin and Kaepernick who had the worst knee. We are in the thick of it. Honestly, I'm just sick of it. These incidents are not isolated. They more meticulous and filled with maliciousness. That's why we wildin' no more, suffering in silence. Tell the hand that taught us violence, let us
breathe.
Woo!
JP and I have to go in, but I didn't. If somebody else want to speak, see April. Thank you. Well, I want to leave on you.
I didn't see.
It's okay, I got it.
I think one of the things, not the least of which that 5 years has taught me, maybe taught everyone, is that we save ourselves.
That's right.
You know, some of the biggest things that we take with us since May 28th, 2020, and days before, weeks before, months before, is the education that we have. Things we've learned since May 28th. This first day we stepped out onto this very square to march and protest and stand in unity. Many people stood right here. Many people are still here, either physically, metaphorically, symbolically. It's justice for Breonna Taylor. I talked earlier about it being a literal sense, but also symbolic. About a lot of black lives that we stand for and try to find justice for each and every day. We save ourselves with everything that we've learned. You know, it's said multiple times, written, published, posted, that we need to come together. And now we know ways to get that done. The only thing we need to do now is write that plan and do it. Because as it was at the end of the day, and will be in the beginning tomorrow, we have the chance to do so because we're here. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you,
Justice for Breonna
Maxwell.
Taylor.
Thank you.
I'll be in there, y'all. Thank you. Thank you. what this 5-year means for our lives. I woke up really, really angry today. Because what happened shouldn't have happened. And some things I don't want us to forget. Like, I can't forget my daughter. I can't forget the bullets that were flying through everywhere. I can't forget that they sent her mother 500 places before they said anything about her daughter. I can't forget these cops that trolled the family, myself, and other protesters. Imagine if you went on a date with your boyfriend and you came home and then someone kicked your door in because they're fucking stupid and they lied to get warrants. Don't forget that too. You know, I didn't have the chance to meet Breonna, but I definitely feel like I know Breonna because throughout this protest I've learned so much about her. And you know, I hear people sit there and say, like, you guys are never going to get anything, nothing's ever going to happen, but Hankinson's going to jail. And these federal courthouses keep playing with the other 4 people. They keep moving their court dates. We cannot stop. No matter what, we have to show up to every court date. Because the things that bother us, can you imagine how her family feels? Can you imagine how Kenny feels? Because those are the people that I've been thinking about all day today. I can't stop thinking about them. And when I came here to 6th and Jefferson, I thought about Tyler, Travis, Chris. And I can't forget all we lost. But it never will compare to what Breonna's mother lost. And so no matter what trials and tribulations we go through, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how, we have to show up. April 8th, I am asking everybody, we want the courtroom filled and we want outside filled. They need to know that we will not deal with this. The same time we showed up and we had thousands of protesters on April 8th. I don't give a fuck about your job. Take off now. I'm telling you all, just for, we have to be there in numbers. We have to be there in numbers. There's still other court cases going on. They have to know that we're not playing around. We will come back to these streets. We will do anything we need to. I'm telling you all, April 8th is very critical. So I am begging everyone. I don't care. You need to be there. Go to work afterwards, do whatever you need to. Family needs the support just like it needs the, 874 days before we got into this. So I am begging you guys. Let Miss Tamika see so many people. She's so overwhelmed. It's just a beautiful thing. And not only that, Breonna, she'll be looking down. I believe that wholeheartedly. I believe in, when somebody's murdered, and she was murdered, I won't call it anything else but murder, until somebody, killers are brought to justice, their spirit can't rest. Well, I believe that with this one conviction, she's going to get a little rest. But I know she's going to be looking down, and she needs to know that we're all going to be there. So I'm begging everybody that is watching this, that will watch this, please be there April 8th. Thank you.
All right, y'all, I think we're done. Thank you so much for being here. I'm April. raindrop. And I thought I was tripping.
It looks like it.
I thought she was scratched. I thought she was scratched. Nah, I seen him on Dead Stop. Who's the nigga play against? Who's the nigga they played against?
A-P-R-I-O-E.
Peace.
Council